Well, after a long and grueling regular season, comes a bit of fun in the middle of it all. 1 week off for the drivers to get ready for the Eliminator chase, but it's 1 week still worthy of a prize. $50 for drivers trying to take on the fastest quarter mile in the nation. Welcome to the virtual Slinger Speedway, a new first for the KBueno Racing Network, where tonight it is double coverage of the SAAC Cup Series' trip to the virtual Slinger Speedway and the Dirty Driver Demo Derby and the Safe Driver Shootout. Welcome to the action on the KBueno Racing Network. So happy that you're joining us here from virtual Slinger, Wisconsin, where alongside Nate Polite in the booth, I am Kenneth Bueno. Hopefully we'll have Alexander Schumacher join us for the Safe Driver Shootout later on tonight. Well, after a long regular season, we just came off of Homestead in Miami. Nate decided the fate for the 16 that will now run for a Season 4 SAAC Cup Series Championship. But now we come into a very interesting proposition. You put next-gen cars on a quarter mile that is really not designed to have next-gen cars on them. And now a figure-8 race right before we get to the main one. It should be very interesting tonight.
Oh, it's going to be a super fun night, especially the Dirty Driver Demo Derby. The guys with the most incidents this year getting to come together at a figure-8 track. That's all about running into people. You're not going to get in trouble for doing so. And then everyone else gets to go fight on this tiny little quarter-mile high-banked oval that is not built for cup cars, and we're putting cup cars on there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, not really built for this type of racing. Usually you see some late model stock cars on a track like this, maybe cars that are smaller than that, maybe bandoleros or something, but next-gen cars, quite not in the sense of what we're about to see tonight. And like you said, Nate, just a lot of the drivers put in tonight for a reason. The Dirty Driver Demo Derby that comes in before the Safe Driver Shootout later on this evening. That'll be a full-fledged format. This Dirty Driver Demo Derby will be a little more primitive in that sense. A lot of those drivers that have accumulated the highest average incidents over the course of the regular season, they'll be in this figure-8 race from Slinger. Then all the cleanest drivers will face off in the Safe Driver Shootout later on tonight. But this is where we are, right at the end of the regular season. Homestead of Miami was our place last week on Thursday, deciding those drivers that would get into the SAAC Cup Series Eliminator chase. But as for everything after, then it's game time after this week from Slinger. This is kind of the one opportunity in which they get to decompress a little on build week, have a bit of fun, and then get locked back into the championship format that'll take the drivers from 16 to 6 that'll compete for the title later on this season at the virtual Auto Club Speedway. But we have to give you a reminder as to how things shook out just last Thursday at Homestead of Miami down in South Florida, and a fantastic start for those at the front. Gabriel Dahari and the 76 of Justin Rott to the front of the field. Rott with a pole after a crucial Phoenix race in which he nearly captured the win. Then playoff implications for Brad Sawinski, his GTA car going sideways off turn 4 and 8. We would just see chaos ring true throughout the entirety of the race, and it didn't discriminate from the back or the front of the field. AJ Hyder fighting for the lead, overcorrects right into Justin Rott, creates one of the biggest crashes of the night.
It was a hot and slick racetrack, and this is AJ Hyder, a week removed from dominating much of the race at Phoenix, just loses it outside the young pole sitter Justin Rott. But Gabriel Dahari was the story of this race.
He was at the front leading, especially with the pace car out ahead of him. And Cody Rivera's fighting for the midseason bracket challenge win. Came down to the final round at Homestead of Miami. Couldn't say that a lot of the midseason bracket challenge drivers had a lot of fun in virtual South Florida, given how much chaos they had to anticipate. Here were the first round of green flag pit stops, and Steven Maggio, defending champ, continues the season of struggle. That was a tap from Andretti Robinson down the back straightaway. We would not see Steven Maggio for the rest of the race as he had suspension damage. Then on one of the following restarts, difference on strategy, fresh tires to Gabriel Dahari, and Nate, that's how he was able to push out in front to the inside of James Bomar, who was loose over the course of the run, seemed to be the staple of racing at Homestead in Miami under the hot track temp in South Florida, but Dahari would retake the lead, and that's where he kind of really never looked back, even through the restarts and through the mix of strategy with James Thurston up the road.
Yeah, and you see here he was starting in the middle of the field, but once the runs got long, he saved his tires so much better than everybody else. It was a hallmark of how good he could do. This is him racing with James Thurston here, a battle that we saw towards the front of the field. Thurston was another guy really good at saving his stuff, but as the run got down to the end, Thurston was not able to save as good as Dahari. As you see, Dahari comes through here to take the lead.
Dahari went back to the inside, and despite Thurston's best attempt at a last-second punch, not enough. Gabriel Dahari captures the win at Homestead of Miami, his second of Season 4, and what a way to end the regular season off with a lot of that momentum heading into the Eliminator Chase. Second mile-and-a-half victory of the season. His last one came at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Second career SAAC Cup Series victory as well. So even amidst the chaos and the aftermath of all of it, Dahari ending up with the success, and hopefully we'll be able to see him in the Safe Driver Shootout race later on this evening. So Slinger Speedway, not the typical next-gen track that you would see these cars race at, but it is a very famous short track venue out in Slinger, Wisconsin. A quarter-mile track in length. We're using that figure-8 circuit right in the middle for this Dirty Driver Demo Derby. But this track that opened back in 1948 has a lot of surprises, Nate, and the big thing to note, 33 degrees of banking in the corners. You don't even get that at tracks like Bristol. It is such a unique venue, and it should be a fun challenge for these cars tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Bristol, where the Cup Series will be going later this weekend, in the real world is banked higher, and it's a shorter track. It allows them to go a little bit faster through the corners, but it's going to be so interesting to see, especially in the Safe Driver Shootout tonight on the oval layout, how they handle that. And in the figure-8 race as well, there's going to be a lot more than just the high bank corners to look out for. I'm excited for both.
It should be a lot of fun. This figure-8 track is going to be the first challenge for those in this Dirty Driver Demo Derby. Again, those qualify that have the highest incident points over the course of the season on average throughout 2025. And only 4 drivers on the grid, so it won't exactly be a long trip around to give you the entire starting grid tonight. And it's Fidel Fabian in his number 55 Toyota Camry. He rounds out the front row alongside James Bomar, who was fighting for the lead, led a couple of laps last week at the virtual Homestead of Miami Speedway. And then those final 2 right behind in 3rd and 4th, the Michigan native of Alexander Schumacher, who joins us later tonight on the show, and Brad Sawinski is number 28, driver who was fighting for a Eliminator Chase spot last week at Homestead of Miami. And despite having more qualified drivers alongside special eligibility for extras, it appears we only have 4 show up. So for this format, on par, it's 76 completed laps, but this is a timed race, so we're going 20 minutes on the board from this figure-8 track, and call it a first on the KBueno Racing Network. First time that we're ever going figure-8s racing on this track. We are in this series, and for this network, we usually end up seeing a lot of the normal ovals, road courses, and everything in between, but never quite a race like this. 4 drivers, 20 minutes on the board. Fabian and Bomar, green flag in the figure-8 Dirty Driver Demo Derby. Oh, and sideways goes Fabian around. He goes right off the precipice of the corner. And as they were coming to the center, as Alex Schumacher goes for a spill,
and
so will Bomar, and Brad Sawinski will take the lead.
Well, and it's interesting because we talk at all these other tracks about the banking transition and how you want to stay away from it. You can't stay away from it when you're coming down to the figure-8. And there you go, on the first lap, 3 drivers losing on the banking transition. No better example here. You see Schumacher, he just rides the yellow line and loses it, and right in front of him, Bomar does a very similar thing.
And somehow in all of that, Schumacher ended up putting his way to second because of that spin from Bomar. And that's the big point that we'll keep up with here at this figure-8 surface, as Sawinski now leads by nearly 5 seconds. But again, anything can happen. You have some cars crossing over that midsection, so any driver could T-bone the other and create a lot more fun. But yeah, it's really just about getting onto the banking and using the bumps. I mean, this Slinger Speedway is not new in the slightest. This track opened back in 1948, and we'll see over the normal Safe Driver Shootout that there is so many different undulations at this track that you come up from the banking and you're already bouncing around in this next-gen car, and then make it even worse when you have to kind of cut through the infield. Here's the battle for second. James Bomar trying to catch up to Schumacher as they're coming through the banking and back to the midsection.
And we're nearing a collision there with Sawinski and Fabian at the midsection of the racetrack as Sawinski starts to build his gap to the 55 car. Something I want to note, there's healing damage in this race, so there's going to be contact through the figure-8 section, no doubt. That's the whole point of the demolition derby aspect of this. The car's not going to be destroyed. There's not going to be guys spending the entire 20 minutes on pit road here.
There's Bomar getting around Schumacher, so we'll see what kind of fun they creep up, and if they try to get around, oh, spinning goes
Bomar goes around again.
There goes. Well, Bomar's going to give up second. Is he going to give up fourth to Fabian? And there's the race leader, Brad Sawinski, who I think is trying to play it safe. He's really going slow around these corners, but I think he's doing it on purpose just to avoid literally everyone in the middle. We haven't seen any contact in the middle part of the track yet. I mean, that's the point of this figure 8 circuit, but so far with only 4 cars, it really doesn't make it any easier when you don't have that much of a density in this field. There, Schumacher ends up second. He's still nearly 6 seconds back. Nate, have you ever run a figure 8 track? I don't think I ever have tried. Maybe I've done it once on iRacing during week 13, but I don't think I've ever done a figure 8, and I think I want to stay away from it just because of how scary this looks already. I'm not going to lie.
I think I've done figure 8s on a Wreckfest. Oh, and there's the figure 8 coming into play. Schumacher got in the Fabian, and they stacked up right in front of the leader, Sawinski. I've done figure 8s on Wreckfest, which is a game aptly named for that kind of racing. Oh, T-boned again is Schumacher. You see something, he tried to play games, getting on the brakes to like kind of sneak past Bomar and Fabian, and it just didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah, this is definitely not a typical type of format that you'd race. The Schumacher's going to get hounded here. He's already nearly a lap down. He's 15.6 seconds back of Sawinski on race timing. So for the 28, this seems to be a very cruise and comfortable afternoon in sim. And tonight in this Dirty Driver Demo Derby, he's doing really well for himself. And I'd say that everyone could have been part of that Demo Derby last week, Nate, given how crazy that Homestead race was. Almost everyone crashing. Didn't matter if you were fighting for the race lead or you were in the back of the pack, or even if you were riding around for like 10th or 11th as Bomar will spin again from 3rd place. It just seems like maybe that could have carried over into this, but seems like it hasn't. And Brad Sawinski having the cleanest race so far, hasn't really touched anyone on the racetrack, and trying to lap Schumacher to put the entire field a lap down here through 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, look at the last couple of races at Phoenix and Miami. You could have considered those ones to be the demolition derbies. There was a lot of carnage in each of those races. Of course, Phoenix had a couple of longer green flag runs, but the cautions bred cautions, and there's Sawinski finally making his first misstep of the race, and should let most of the field to get their lap back.
Yeah, it's going to allow Schumacher to get back in. Bomar and Fidel Fabian also swing around, so looks like this race isn't quite done after all. It really just takes one mistake at a track like this, and you know, we'll see it in the shootout later on tonight, but some small mishap maybe in the corner will set you back a long ways. You know, we don't talk about short tracks being put dead laps down for nothing if you end up on pit road for too long. I think here at Slinger, I mean, you have one spin like that for Sawinski, all of a sudden you reignite that fight, and although Schumacher is still a ways back, I mean, the 28 could fumble once or twice through the apron transition, and it really allows Schumacher and the rest of this game to get back in, because look how close 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are.
Yeah, they're all over each other in the field. I mean, not super all over each other. I mean, the second-wise, timing-wise, certainly all over each other because of how small the track is. But there's a good amount of space on track between them. Yeah, one more issue from the 28 is Sawinski, and it could get real interesting here fast. And again, it's a figure 8. That issue could be caused by somebody else very, very easily if they decide, hey, I'm running 4th, I've got nothing else to lose. I might T-bone the leader, and Fidel Fabian goes wide there.
And now the battle for 2nd, contact, and they'll both spin. Can Fabian grab 2 for 1? He's going to get 1 at least from Schumacher. And Bomar has been putting the heat to this Port Huron, Michigan native throughout basically the entirety of this Dirty Driver Demo Derby. He has been trying to get around. He's been the faster car, but it's always a spin. It's always getting a little too comfortable, and all of a sudden it creates problems. Here's the setup, and how he did it off of the center end of the track. He comes around to the banking, and he's trying to attempt the crossover. He does right about here, but remember, he's going to have the higher end of the track on the other end, so they're going to come across to the center. No one's able to clear each other. Schumacher goes a little bit too high, and they both spin.
Yeah, synchronized spinning from Bomar and Schumacher, and it is super interesting on this figure 8 surface to see how guys go and set up these passes. That was a really good job by Bomar, and it really actually worked. It was just Schumacher got into the corner. The next corner is a little too hot underneath him.
Do you think that we could get some style points for some synchronized spinning here? I mean, with only 4 drivers, we may start getting into the judging here very soon.
We might. Fidel Fabian really trying to avoid the banking transition as he gets up off that end of the speedway. I'm going really slow, and you see Sawinski doing the same.
Oh, and
Schumacher has to lock it up.
Down the apron, and all of a sudden, here comes Bomar. So once again, hello, my friend. They'll both fight side by side, back up the banking. And this time, Bomar will clear without a trace. Schumacher's going to attempt the crossover, but no doing there. The 68 will be last now, 4th on the boards. As remember, that double mistake by those drivers sent Fidel Fabian through to 2nd, and there still is a gap now.
Oh, Bomar's got out of there hot.
Spin again, and Schumacher's going to get into him. This is where it's going to get fun.
It looked like a true demo derby where you can just drive wherever you want to and run into someone for a moment right there. Those guys certainly getting on each other's nerves.
Well, it looks like Schumacher has almost certainly done himself in, as he's going to be now a lap down, the only car a lap down in this field, just based off that little mistake from Bomar. And the 15 car may just be in jeopardy of getting put a lap down by himself. Inside goes Sawinski through the center. Fidel Fabian is not close enough. We saw some close calls between Sawinski's red car and the white machine in the Toyota. Fabian, another spin, and there's the crash.
Oh, and there's the contact.
Can Fabian take the lead?
I don't think he can take the lead, but he's going to get really, really close. That's the danger of the figure 8 racetrack. Is the oncoming traffic. There's not always anything you can do, especially if one guy just wants to take you out.
Well, the cautions are not viable here in a race like this. You crash and you keep on going, and like you said, Nate, it's just all about healing damage. So like Sawinski had the hard front end contact from the crash as he watches Bomar go around, it is going to fix itself in a sense. So if you do pick up any damage, our car just goes back to 100%. Slowly but surely it does. So for Sawinski and for the rest of these guys in this demo derby, not much to worry about. Now, when it comes to the safe driver shootout, that has damage enabled. So it doesn't matter if you end up in a slight crash or in a huge one. The damage is going to be there on the race car, and it will not get fixed. And especially here at Slinger with a track this short and this small, Nate, I mean, there's really no chance of coming down pit road and getting repairs. There is a pit road on the outside of the track because obviously you don't have enough space to fit a pit road inside the infield, but it's really not smart to come down pit road here at Slinger just because, again, so short, you're going to be maybe 2 or 3 laps down in a matter of like 5 seconds.
Yeah, especially under green flag, there's no way that you'd want to come down and fix things up. But hey, it's the safe driver shootout, so in theory, they should be perfectly clean the entire time, and there should be no marks on any of these race cars, right?
You know, you would hope so, but when we heard about this Slinger shootout, you know, you think of Slinger and you're like, okay, maybe they're going to put street stocks on here, maybe they'll put Legends cars or something. No, they're putting the next-gen cars on this track, which, again, I've never seen a combo like this before. I've seen SRX cars here, which is maybe the closest thing to putting a next-gen car on there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you put all the safe drivers, there is going to be chaos, and there's 150 laps. There are heat races. There is transfers and LCQs. So people are going to go home, and people are going to move forward. So I don't know. It's going to be really crazy to see. There's Sawinski still in control. Nearly 6 seconds now, and looks like the 6 seconds are going to be gone. Here comes Fabian. Can he take the lead now? They're closer to each other than they've ever been. Fabian cuts down low, and there's our first lead change.
And contact as Sawinski goes for it right back. As you were saying that Sawinski was in control of this race, he lost control going through the corner and looped it. And we've got a battle for the lead on our hands, the 28 and the 55, and there's some contact, door slam between the two leaders.
And I think he did it on purpose. Sawinski says, move out of the way. Fabian says, I want a chance back at the race lead. Our first lead change happening just about halfway. Oh, and there's the spin. Fabian is going to give up second as James Bomar is going to come around and take second in spinning fashion. And with just about 9 minutes to go in this race, Brad Sawinski is seemingly back in the driver's seat, and Alex Schumacher remains a lap down. Oh, man, that was close. Fabian just about had a shot at the lead off of that slight spin from Sawinski. So here's how it all happened, and it's that apron again.
Yeah, it's so tough coming up the hill, and then you're trying to get the steering angle right, and the tires are not brand new at this point, so it's easy to loop it around, and then see Fidel Fabian creeping around the inside of that corner, and that allows Sawinski to get back down to the inside, kind of jam up the 55 just a little bit. Fabian tries the crossover to get to the top going into the corner here, and Sawinski just says, no, this is my corner, this is my race, you're not taking the lead from me like that. takes off once again.
It's kind of one of those races where you really can't get mad at stuff like that because you know your car is going to get fixed. You know your race isn't going to go haywire. But right about there, it's not really the touch from Sawinski that does him in. It's really just the bobbles there on the apron transition. And as James Bomar was trying to take second, clipped him in the middle section of the racetrack. And then, yeah, the rest of the story gets told. Fabian was going at Sawinski there. That was an attempted shot at the race leader. And Fabian's going to give up second now to Bomar.
He absolutely sent it in there. You know, you said you can't get too mad. I might think that Fidel Fabian would disagree with that because he still wants that checkered flag, and he's kind of creeping around the racetrack. He might be trying to play a little games with Sawinski there. If you remember Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain at Gateway a few years ago, there's a plume of smoke there as Bomar and Schumacher are getting close together again.
And Fabian, with that mistake, he's fallen a lap down. He got passed by Sawinski, so he's on the same playing field as Alexander Schumacher. How about this again? So the duo on the other end of the racetrack is giving way for this duo right here. Bomar is going to get around Schumacher. This is not again for position. Well, this is a chance for now some people to unlap themselves. Here comes Fabian.
Yeah, there you go. The next time the 68 and the 15 get to each other, it might just be for position because he got into him and looped it around. And now Brad Sawinski is once again set sail, and it's going to get a little easier as Fidel Fabian spins. Bomar's got to avoid him.
Well, Bomar's gotten around, and the crucial thing here is that if you look at the intervals on the top end of your screen, everyone apart from Sawinski is a lap down. So this is good for the 28 inside the final, 23 laps of this figure 8 race. There is just about 6 minutes to go. And so now for Sawinski, just minimize the mistakes, try not to crash, and he should be okay, but that's way easier said than done. As Schumacher tries to sling around James Bomar, this is just going to be for fun at this point. Schumacher has dropped 2 laps down from the leaders. So Bomar is on the same end with Fidel Fabian. They're in the battle for second place. But Bomar has the upper end for now. Schumacher's falling back. And just look at the different lines. I mean, when you're trying to carry so much speed through the middle part, there are so many bumps, and then you have to hit the transition, and you got to go way up the banking. It's 33 degrees here in Slinger. And then you come right back down, hoping to keep the car in control. And that's what's caught a lot of the drivers more than really contact between themselves, because, again, there are only 4 drivers in this race. But there goes Sawinski looking to put Fabian a second lap down and hopefully seal the fate for himself to win this 30 driver demo derby. And there he goes.
Oh, he's gone again. That's a long spin for the 28 of Sawinski.
Well, he's going to save it. He doesn't hit the outside wall. Now he's going to get shoved out of the way.
Hit by Schumacher.
There's the hit check by Schumacher. Schumacher gains a lap. Bomar resets with Sawinski, so that battle for the lead can re-ensue if Sawinski drops another ball. Schumacher is staying put with Sawinski. I think he may want to make this race interesting. Oh, he'll slide across the apron, and Sawinski will regain control. And if we've been watching this 28 car all night long, we understand how cautious he's been. I think because he's treating it like the paint scheme that we're seeing on the car right now. This is a throwback to NASCAR 06, Total Team Control. Nate, I don't know if you ever played that game back in the day. I certainly did. It was one of my first PlayStation 2 games back in the day. But this is based off of one of the modified cars in the NASCAR 06 game. So that's why there are kind of fictionally drawn bars on the side of the race car. There's that little carburetor at the top end of the hood, which is obviously not real, but it's part of the paint scheme. So Sawinski, who ran this pretty much earlier in the season, is kind of putting it to good use. A short track car paint scheme on a real short track like Slinger. And now he's just about 11 laps away from the Dirty Driver Demo Derby win.
I love a good throwback. I was more of a NASCAR 07 kid, not NASCAR 06, but love seeing these throwbacks, especially ones that take a lot of liberty with the design they put on them. This car, I remember Chase Briscoe had an Xfinity throwback a few years ago that had a similar design. Joey Logano had one in 2022. I love when guys go for cars that aren't stock cars and they give them those same designs that were on the regular cars anyway, like the exposed bars on the outside of the car, the carburetor pointing through the hood. Such a cool looking race car.
It's so cool for Sawinski, who hasn't really debuted that car much in Season 4. And we really haven't spotlighted it as much as the races that he's run that paint scheme. He's kind of struggled. So good to see that Sawinski is putting in the spotlight tonight from Slinger. It's still 9 seconds, give or take, between himself and James Bomar. So there could still be some fun around the corner if somebody makes a mistake But for right now, it really doesn't seem like anyone is out for blood at this juncture of the race. We're down to the final 2.5 minutes, just about. And with looking like 7 laps to go next time by, it's a race where Sawinski really has to choke if he's going to lose this one. And he's going to be really careful around Fidel Fabian. You can see how gingerly he's taking these corners, Nate. He's not expanding up high. He wants to limit the amount of bumps he comes across, and that's on the apron. So he stays close to that yellow line. He stays close to the bottom, and that's at least what's helped him keep control. And not really using that much throttle here at Slinger. That's kind of the key if you're running this figure 8.
Yeah, you're seeing he's even going really gingerly across the figure 8 at the middle of the racetrack, because you talked about, I mean, you can see how patchy the pavement is in the first place. It's bumpy, and you only get so much time to speed up, then woe yourself back down for the corners. So if you've got all that lead, might as well use it. Even if Bomar puts together some heaters, it's going to be really, really difficult for him to catch Sawinski.
Well, Bomar has been faster. His last lap was an 18.37. For Sawinski was a 19.1. So clearly there is not really a lot of urgency for Sawinski, but knowing he has a 10.5-second gap, I mean, it's really just playing with fire if you're going to get near traffic. But coming down to the final minute and a half, that lap counter on the left top end corner of your screen, it's not exactly accurate. We were at 7 laps to go a bit ago. It extended to 11. Now it's at 8 laps to go again. So really just trusting the time here. Minute 25 seconds left in this Dirty Driver Demo Derby from Slinger Speedway. Again, if you want to join us later, we'll be racing the Safe Driver Shootout. We'll have heat races for you alongside an LCQ, and then a 150-lap feature with $50 going to the race winner. Again, that's later on tonight. That session is already up. Practice is open for those eligible to squeak on in and get some crucial laps here at this fastest quarter mile in the U.S. But other than that, maybe watching the late end of this charge right here where Brad Sawinski is looking to close out the win. He's pushing Alex Schumacher. I think that's a brake check. That's a brake check and a half from Shuey.
That is absolutely
he wants to spice things up.
Check and a half. I alluded to Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain at Gateway earlier on the broadcast.
Oh my.
I think that's a little bit more of an example of that. Though he is almost stopped. He's like, get out of my way, Shuey. I got a race to win.
Shuey is trying to manipulate this game a little bit. He's trying to make it look like the Chevrolet drivers at, Martinsville not too long ago in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's trying to change the action in the course of this race. It has actually closed down the gap, so Shuey did try to be the martyr there in that sense and make this race a bit more interesting. Final 15 seconds here from Slinger. If Sawinski does not hiccup, then he will lock up this win. And as he comes back across to the center end of the track, timer will click down to 0, and Brad Sawinski comes away with the Dirty Driver Demo Derby win from Slinger.
What a race. What a fun race. What a fun idea. I tell you, I love putting cars on tracks that they don't belong on. I mentioned it on the KBRN Trucks broadcast Monday, how much I love it when we just send guys to weird tracks.
Well, this is the first of 2 delectables we'll have tonight. Sawinski celebrates after the 20 minutes are over here from Virtual Slinger Speedway. And Sawinski put up the cleanest race of them all. Give him an argument to get into the Safe Driver Shootout with how clean of a race he had. As James Bomar comes in second, Fidel Fabian third, Alex Schumacher, who tried to make things interesting at the end, falls 3 laps down. He ends up in position number 4. So that will do it for our Dirty Driver Demo Derby. And man, Nate, what a race. I mean, I was hoping maybe for more drivers. We would have had way more chaos and probably new race leaders every given second. But not bad for 4 cars. They put on a pretty good show.
They did put on a great show. It was, more cars, the more the merrier, as they say. But for 4 cars, it was a treat to watch. And really, for Sawinski leading as many laps by as much of a margin as he did, it was entertaining all across the track. Really, most of that race.
And it was a lot of fun. So 20 minutes down, Brad Sawinski wins. There's the gap, 6.3 seconds. It was a lot larger, but Shuey tried to move Sawinski a couple times and back him up and was really unsuccessful. Fidel Fabian ends up 3rd place, 2 laps down, and Alexander Schumacher ends up 3 laps down in position number 4. So really fun Demo Derby, or Dirty Driver Demo Derby, as I should say. Lots of the tongue twisters here at Slinger, but lots of fun to be had continuously tonight, and it is Brad Sawinski who ends up with the win and who is joining us now. Brad, it seemed like this was a Dirty Driver Demo Derby, but you were probably the cleanest driver of them all all night long. What was kind of the strategy to get around this figure 8 track, and I guess how cool it is to grab a demo derby win?
Oh man, I had a blast. Yeah, even though we didn't have many cars, I think I still had a ton of fun. Racing figure eights, I've always had fun with them. Yeah, the strategy for me was just to keep it in third gear because it minimizes the wheel spin, and it's just minimizing the bumps as much as possible, trying to stay on the inside there. And even a couple times when I'm seeing the cars go across, I didn't like to hit the brakes much. I still want to spice it up. I still try to make it through there full speed, but man, I love figure eight racing, so I had fun in this car.
It was a lot of fun watching you and the rest of the guys out there, and maybe some choice words for Shuey. He was trying to back you up a little bit and trying to level out you and James Bomar, but great race tonight, Brad. Anyone that you want to thank for the demo derby win?
Man, I gotta thank the NASCAR 06 Total Team Control for this beautiful wheel-in modified car. I had to bring it back. I thought, Slinger modifieds goes hand in hand, and I didn't really get my first attempt with it at Texas. I didn't really get to show it out as much, so to do this today, I was able to be fun with this car.
Hey, we gave love to it. It's a beautiful car, and I think it's fitting for a track like this. Brad, thank you so much for the time. Congrats on the Dirty Driver Demo Derby win. I want to argue that it will get you into the Safe Driver Shootout, but I don't know if that's the case. But in any way, thanks for talking to us, and congrats on the dub.
No, I appreciate it. I think because of the session already starting, that unfortunately I cannot join, but it is what it is.
All right, well, Brad Sawinski ends up with the win nonetheless in this Dirty Driver Demo Derby. What a race it was as we continue to move on forward. Now it's time for the real deal, Nate. Safe Driver Shootout later on this evening. Once again at Slinger, we're doing it for real on the actual big oval, if you can call it big by any stretch of the imagination. A quarter-mile track. We're ready to go for some heat racing.
So it's going to be a blast to watch these guys rip around the actual oval and see some more cars on the track. It's going to be an absolute treat to watch here tonight. The Safe Driver Shootout, but I don't know that they're going to be racing all that safe in this close quarters.
It may not get safe later on just based on how things plan out. But for this Safe Driver Shootout, we wanted to offer a bit more tips to the drivers in this field because driving at Slinger is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. So here's a bit of a video on how to be a safe driver here at a track like this. Here are some tips on how to be a safe driver tonight from Slinger Speedway. Number 1, merge safely. When coming onto the racetrack from pit road, you want to ensure your car's safety and your own, so make sure to look left and look right to get onto the track cleanly and safely. Number 2, slow for incidents. Incidents will happen from time to time on the racetrack, so it's best practice to always be aware of your surroundings. When you see a spinning car, hop on the brakes and move out of the way the best that you can. And yes, that includes incidents that are also your fault. Number 3, enjoy the racing. Slinger is such a unique racetrack, and with this next-gen car, it will surely provide a challenge for all that take the speedway this evening. Everyone wants to have a safe and clean race, so try to make sure you have as much fun as possible and give respect to everyone else on track as you all chase the checkered flag. That's how to be a safe driver here at Slinger Speedway. I had a ton of fun trying to put some good laps into this track, but I don't know, Nate. It's tough. It's not easy to drive here at this track, give or take with literally any other car. But with the next-gen car, I found myself spinning like everyone in that Derby race earlier on tonight. It's not easy.
And that's on the normal track, not going over the bumps on the figure eight. So it'll be really interesting to see how these guys tackle a track full of race cars going around this old surface, this tiny little oval in Slinger, Wisconsin.
Well, we need a bit of more insight, and to do that, now let's bring in a driver who was just in that Demo Derby race not too long ago. Our good friend Alexander Schumacher joined us now. Alex, that was a lot of fun in that Derby race. You were trying to level things out with Bomar and with Sawinski, so we give you credit for trying to make things a little more interesting at the end. But what did you learn about driving Slinger, and what do you think we should expect to see from the heat races leading up to the feature tonight?
Well, obviously, Slinger Speedway is a very old, bumpy track. The bottom lane is going to be the only place that works around here. The outside lane, there's a couple bumps and inconsistency with that outside lane. It is faster in this next gen, but it is going to be a lot more tougher on your tires and the suspension. So hugging that bottom line, the smoothest way around the track will be the easiest on throttle, on the brakes. Slinger is an awesome track, lots of history here. It's like a boxing ring here, so contact's inevitable. You got to bring your A game, and you got to push people around in order to finish up front.
Well, we'll see how that all shakes out, and just like Nate said, it's probably not going to be a safe driver shootout by any means given this track and the nature of it. We start with our first of several heat races tonight, 15 laps on the board. We've got 4 heats where the top 3 advance. And on the front row, Connor Trafari, who won the midseason bracket challenge last week at Homestead, will bring us to the green. Declan George on the outside. Austin Duran, Jamie Wright going to be back in the second row. And it's AJ Hyder and Larry Miles to close out this 6-car heat. Given all the drivers that have qualified, it's really easy to split these drivers up into these small groups. So not a lot of packed-in drivers until we get to that main race later on tonight. Connor Trafari, Declan George will round about turn 4, bring us to the green flag in the first heat of the Safe Driver Shootout, and Trafari extends out in front. George flails to the outside. Duran sneaks in for second. Nate off of turn 4 to complete lap 1.
Yeah, I thought Declan George got hung out to dry on the outside lane, just like Alex, you were saying. It's so tough up there. Even if it is faster, it's a lot harder to control the car. You saw it there. He falls 1 spot shy of the transfer, just the top 3 to get through here.
Single file heading into turns 1 and 2. You can see them kind of arc the corner here. You're going to see that here where guys are going to enter really low and try to carry that speed up the track towards the wall, maximize that exit speed as much as possible here. Now we're going to see some guys get into a rhythm, see who's got the fastest consistency here and who can make a bump, make a pass here.
And one of those drivers we haven't seen extend his nose out in front, AJ Hyder, who seems to be one of the better drivers in this SAAC Cup Series, who saw him crash fighting for the lead on the inside of Justin Rott in the middle of 3 and 4 at Homestead at Miami. A tough way for that race to end, but has a win this season. It was a short track at Iowa Speedway earlier on in the campaign, so you can definitely count on AJ Hyder being one of the most consistent drivers in the field, but seems to be bobbling up more than we'd anticipate, as Connor Trafari seems like the high momentum has not gone away ever since his last 2 wins of the season at Phoenix and at Talladega Superspeedway. And there's Austin Duran just holding on to second. Jamie Wright not too far behind. But remember, Nate, only the top 3 will advance through the heats directly into the feature. So with Jamie Wright, he's got to tiptoe around Austin Duran because he's got a good gap on 4th place Declan George. The last thing he wants to do, make a mistake, give up the transfer.
Yeah, we've seen that car step out on him a couple of times here, and same thing with the 52 in front of him. We saw it several times in the figure 8 race. You get spun out, and next thing you know, the car's past you because the time difference is not a whole lot, even if the track difference is a lot. These are short races. It's just 15 laps in these heats. There's already 6 laps to go, just about down to 5.
Yep, we've got
Jamie Wright to the inside.
And there goes Wright.
Oh, say sorry.
For second, Shuey. Looks like Declan George may have a shot after all if they get into each other.
Yeah, here he comes. He's on the inside here. It's the place to be. Austin Duran's going to have the momentum on the outside. Jamie Wright's on the smoothest side of the track here. It's going to be a drag race down the backstretch, side by side, heading into turn 3, 52 with the advantage. So, side by side, Jamie's got to run up the track or something, maybe extend that inside line a bit more. He's giving Duran all the space he needs to hang on that quarter panel, and he finally clears him here. Oh, just clears him just enough. Austin Duran storming back on the outside, not giving it up. Jamie Wright clears it P2.
Remember, 33 degrees of banking here at this virtual Slinger Speedway, so there is so much that you can use, especially at the higher end of the track. If you're able to use that banking to fend off from the outside, could be a good proposition for you. White flag in the air from Slinger, and all of a sudden this race has turned in the control of Connor Trafari. He has been the man in contention, and crossing the line, Connor Trafari ends up with the heat victory. Jamie Wright and Austin Duran will bring in the rest of the top 3.
Oh my goodness, wow. Bring out the stretchers, guys.
We talked about style points during the figure 8 race, Kenneth. You think Connor Trafari earned any with that little drift through the corner there?
I think he did. I don't know if anyone else did. They went for full gymnastics mode and they fell right into the pylon. That was unbelievable.
They did not stick the landing.
They did not. Here's a look at the race results. Those are not the results, actually. We just transferred into the next heat. But that was Connor Trafari getting the win. Austin Duran and Jamie Wright closing out the top 3. not really a chance for Declan George and company to make any sort of move. So let's jump into heat number 2. Again, top 3 will advance. This is a 6-car field, and it's 5 only on the track, and it starts with the pole sitter. Wow, it's not really a good one for me tonight. Cody Riveras ends up on the pole, Andretti Robinson on the outside. Wyatt Roberts in 3rd. Shockey Tarpley back in 4th. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer ran up front at Homestead last week, ends up in the top 5. So that will bring in those drivers that are in and will try to fight. Again, top 3 will advance. And Shuey, from that little bit that we saw in that first race, much cleaner than we anticipated. No driver spun around. We saw some loose moments here and there, but nobody crashed until the end. So maybe that's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers are definitely coming around to this track. They're getting used to the bumps. They're getting familiar with how they need to pass. Inside lane's king here, so watch how these guys get off the corner on the exit. If they're going to keep exiting low, they're going to keep their nose to the inside, get that position. It's going to be, like I said, argy-bargy the whole way around. So lots of clean racing, lots of hard racing. Hopefully we see more of it tonight.
Again, a lot of the drivers in the Safe Driver Shootout have a really good safety record over the course of Season 4. For league owner Cody Riveras, although he wrecked a couple of times at Homestead Miami last week, he comes into this race 11th on the boards for least incidents average at negative 0.17 on 12 starts this season. He's ran every single race. He'll lead us to the green flag. Heat 2, Nate, underway to turn 1.
Yeah, and Shockey Tarpley completely missed the start of this race. He got super wide out there in turn 4, and a much better restart on the outside of row 1 from Andretti Robinson than we saw in heat number 1 with Declan George.
And a great run up top. Andretti Robinson looking to keep the heat on the race leader. That's the Forza Motorsport 4 Ford Mustang that's on the top end of the track. While Wyatt Roberts and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, they kind of wait in the wings, hopefully that something can open up for them. Robinson maintaining the nose up high. Shuey, he's going for the lead in turn 4.
Side by side, coming down the front stretch here. That's exactly how you need to drive the outside lane. You need to pinch the guy, arc the corner, and drive off. That next gen loves when you do that. And Andretti with the nose ahead. He's making that outside lane work first time all night. Cody Rivera slides up the track, gets loose. Andretti with a chance to take the lead here. Clear in the turn 1. Andretti, new race leader. Wyatt Roberts around the outside. This is really argy-bargy stuff up front here.
There are lots of bumps here at Slinger Speedway, but most of them are at the bottom end of the track. So Riveras is holding on for dear life on the rope. Wyatt Roberts gets moved out of the way in turn 2. Inside goes Jurgensmeyer, and the reignited fight for the lead could very well start if Riveras is able to let off that pressure from behind him, which he has momentarily, but there's not a lot of time. 9 coming to 8 laps to go from Slinger. Nate, that transfer spot up for grabs. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in control, but how long will that last?
That's the battle to watch. We saw from qualifying that Jurgensmeyer not quite as fast as Wyatt Roberts, and he got by him because Wyatt Roberts got moved out of the got moved up the road, and so he's definitely got a little chip on his shoulder. It wasn't Jurgensmeyer that moved him, but nonetheless, he's the guy right in the windshield. He's the next guy up for Roberts to get to, but Jurgensmeyer actually gaining on Riveras and driving away from Wyatt Roberts.
Again, it takes one mistake from any of these front-running 3 that could level out the playing field. Even though that demo derby race we had earlier on tonight, it really showed us that one mistake could change things in a figure 8 setup. Even on the oval setup, it really could matter. And Jurgensmeyer was giving the shot. Alex Schumacher to Cody Rivera said, hey, let's go. I can't wait up any longer. Roberts is catching up now for 3rd.
Jurg's got to be really careful with how he handles Andretti. Wyatt Roberts is closing. He's closing fast, so if he gets around him, he'll be good. But if he doesn't get around Cody, Wyatt will leave himself right at his rear bumper. He's going to take a chance getting into this final transfer spot, but Jurg is driving away here, doing everything he needs to do. Wyatt just needs to put down the pedal, do everything he can, find the bumps, use them to his advantage, or at least have Cody be a roadblock. Whatever works for him. Oh, and Wyatt gets loose. That might be his chance right there.
He slipped up there in the middle of the corner, and there's all that space. Now more than a full second. Shockey Tarpley is down 2 laps. He has not recovered since the opening lap mishap. Riveras is near
way
the
high in the
outside
wall.
On the white flag lap, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer will squeeze on by. Roberts will make an effort for the transfer. Robinson wins the heat. Riveras hangs on to advance to the feature.
Just barely. Oh my goodness.
What a finish.
Gotta make it interesting.
Wyatt Roberts definitely cut him the break there. Could have been a lot more aggressive with the bumper, but this is the clean driver shootout for a reason. These guys are here because they're clean drivers. They don't run each other over. So hats off to Wyatt for at least giving him a shot there. Good job to Cody for surviving and making the final transfer spot.
He got loose off turn 4, guys. That was so close. The league owner could have been bumped out of the race. That is not what you'd want to see at all. But thankfully, everyone survives. And through our heat races, I believe we're going to go right into the warm-up. So we were suggested to have more heat races, more drivers, but we seem to have a smaller overall field. Not to say that it won't be a lot of exciting fun, Nate, because, I mean, from the Demo Derby and even some of these heat races, a lot of good competition, lots of good racing. But for this feature race, how desperate do you think some of the drivers are going to be to try and win this outright? $50 on the line.
That's a lot of money, and we asked Connor Trafari last week after he won the Mid-Season Madness bracket what he was going to do with that prize money. He said, I need to buy some groceries. I'm sure that a few other people could use some groceries as well, and Connor Trafari he could use $50 more in groceries this week as well. So these guys are going to be all over each other. They're going to be fighting really hard because money's money at the end of the day, and any of it is good.
And if
So
Connor Trafari can double up on this, I mean, that would be wild. $150 over the last 2 weeks. You can call him the money man. Connor Trafari will have the lead for this feature race at 150 laps. He won heat number 1, so that gives him the spot. And Andretti Robinson got the checkered flag in heat number 2 in convincing fashion. He'll be on the outside in row number 1. Back in row 2 is where you'll find Jamie Wright's Toyota Camry alongside the Beckmeyer, Illinois native of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer for 4th place. Very quick at the end of heat 2. Could have a shot at some of these drivers up at the front for the race lead. Austin Duran is in the top 5, the Florida driver, with Cody Riveras on the outside in P6. Right behind them is where you'll find Declan George and Wyatt Roberts, and then those final few that ended up at the back ends of both of the heats tonight. Larry Miles in 9th, Shockey Tarpley in 10th, and it's AJ Hyder that's going to be in 11th. Shuey, you're trying to sneak in here from the Derby. What's going on?
Yeah, I registered as a driver, and so Cody was like, hey man, you're allowed to race if you want, but I didn't get the okay from you yet, so I was just kind of waiting, so I registered as a driver just in case, they needed the emergency driver sub, so I was going to hop in there, but no, we're just in the pits, just hanging out, having a great time. All
right, well, it's good to have you with us. It's the first time we bring one of the SAAC Cup Series drivers up for a full-length race, but here we go, 150 laps, $50 on the line. Connor Trafari has been the SAAC Cup Series man over the last several weeks. Can he hold on to that momentum? Green flag out. Duran spins off turn 4.
Yellow flag is out on lap 1 to bring out the caution. Austin Duran spins out on the start-finish line. Looks like he just got on the gas a bit too hard there. Like I said, got to be careful with this next gen and the bumps here. So we'll re-rack him here. Looks like no one got damaged. Just unofficial race start will happen again.
Hey, even though he spun around, all smiles from him as he was getting back around. I mean, it's not a big field. He can make it all back up, but just a little mistake there on the opening lap right as we were getting the green flag. So here's a look at it. That gray and neon blue number 52 had a good race in the heat earlier on tonight. But hey, we talk about those bumps, Nate. I mean, they're so volatile, and they get you, especially at the bottom end of the track near the apron. And right around that line is where Duran just got a little eager. The car bounced, and now Duran's going to be at the back for this next restart.
And it's really difficult when you're restarting from the middle of a corner. They're gassing it up. A lot of tracks that are bigger than this, you're not getting to the gas till you're on the front straightaway, so it's a lot easier to manage, and not spin the tires because you're not putting much steering angle at all into the car. But you do it in really the apex of the corner here. You have to accelerate or you're going to get run over from behind, but you press the gas too hard, and it's really easy to do that. You are going to spin yourself out. You're going to kick up the rear tires, and you're going to go for a loop.
Well, again, safe driver shootout for a reason, and we had 25 eligible drivers that could have gone out and ran this race. We have 11 this evening. Austin Duran sits 17th in that list. We mentioned the top 15. A lot of them are in the negatives for average incident. It's straight up 0 for Austin Duran over 10 starts in SAAC Cup Series Season 4. Green flag out, and Andretti Robinson is going to spin. He'll get saved by the rest of the pack off of Robertson.
Still green.
You have to wonder what kind of damage might that have done to the 45, and he had a missile in his heat race, and he was one of those guys that committed to the top of the track and was able to make it work. So he's going to have to do that again to get back to the field.
No, Alex, that was not what you wanted to see there if you were Robinson. I think he just got a little bit too high off of one of the corners, and then in came the rest of the group. They kind of tallied him around like a ping pong ball, and somehow they were all able to keep it together, and Robinson drops
there
back to
goes
70.
Rivera.
Oh, there goes
on the
Rivera. Brings in Jamie
Still
Wright.
green.
And no yellow will stay green.
Cody Rivera
Let the
gets it
boys
going
play.
here. Yeah, let the boys play. No penalties, no fouls here. That's what we say. Unbelievable action here. This is why Slinger Speedway is one of the best quarter-mile tracks in the country. Just action all over the track here as we get a little spread-out action. AJ Hyder makes a pass on Andretti Robinson here. He's moving up through the field, single file now. We're going to see the rhythm, technique, and finesse of these drivers come in here, so you can really master these bumps, get the best way around this track, and of course be the smartest one with their car.
And that's a big hit, Nate, for the 38 of Jamie Wright. He drops to nearly dead last in that incident with Cody Rivera. He was running second behind Connor Trafari, so he was kind of in his own zip code, hanging around in his own space, and then Rivera's kind of came up, and not sure exactly how the contact happened, but for Wright, I mean, he's still got a long way to go, but a lot of drivers he needs to get through. As here comes Robinson fighting to the inside of AJ Hyder. This will be for 5th place.
A good battle. These two have been battling. Andretti Robinson looking to get back through the field after the incident on that restart. AJ Hyder looking to get back through the field because he was not very fast in his heat race, and he's been very fast otherwise, especially at these shorter ovals. You mentioned the Iowa win earlier. He was dominant for much of the race at Phoenix. Of course, this is a much higher bank than either of those tracks, probably both of them combined, but it's still a short track, so it's something where you might be a little surprised to see AJ Hyder not having as much pace here.
And you know, with AJ Hyder, as he tries to get around Larry Miles here for what's going to be 4th on what's coming up to lap 17, contact there in turn 1, AJ Hyder is in a place where over season 4, he's been a checkers or wreckers driver. Over the first few races of the season, of course, he won that outing at Iowa earlier on this year. His first race resulted in a 34th place finish. That was the crash, then 2nd, 3rd, then the win at Iowa, then a 4th right after, then a 6th right after, and then 35th, 2nd, and 33rd over his last 3 SAAC Cup Series starts. So it's really just a matter, Shuey, of a guy like AJ either being a studded driver in the spotlight, or it's one mistake and one bad luck moment and he's out.
You know, I see it as a wild card. You know, he's a guy that can come in here. You know, obviously, sim racing, you got a lot of mistakes here that may be self-inflicted or just wrong place, wrong time. But, you know, he's a guy that when everything goes right, he shows up. He's fast, he's consistent. He's definitely someone that you'll see at the front every race. So AJ Hyder running clean, consistent, fast here doesn't surprise me. Understandably, with some bad luck here, some self-inflicted wounds, but it's a long season. He's a consistent guy. He's already got some race wins, so nothing to worry about for him. Just maybe clean it up a little and he'll be all right.
And his last 3 starts on the grid, 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd. Hyder is really a formidable contender here in this series. It's just a matter of finding that luck. And he was battling for the race lead at Homestead, like we saw in that highlight package earlier on in this show. And it really was just that slight mistake where he lost control of the race car, and around he went. So we'll keep an eye on AJ as he tries to move in through the field. He did pick up 4th on Larry Miles, so that is a good sign for car number 48. As up in the front, Connor Trafari has been in cruise control mode. He's going to be a little careful here, Nate, around the lap car Cody Rivera. Again, that's how Jamie Wright found trouble, was getting around this 36, who was already a lap down. And Trafari has led every single lap tonight from Slinger in this feature. 27 laps down, Trafari in control and really not looking back.
Yeah, he's not been looking back for about the last 4 weeks of this series. He notched his win at Talladega, backed it up with a win at Phoenix after fighting through the field, and didn't win at Miami, but might as well have won. When in the mid-season madness bracket, he has then just dominated his heat, and he's put an even bigger lead on the rest of the field here in the main event of this safe driver shootout.
Oh, Wyatt Roberts just got punted by Larry in turn 4. He keeps it straight.
And there's Roberts saving it to P6. It's Wright and Doran right behind him.
Jamie Wright's going to give Wyatt Roberts a shove here. Says, I don't want you blocking me here. 3 wide. Is that going to work? Almost. Wyatt Roberts just hangs on to it. Unbelievable racing here. Austin Duran pokes his nose to the inside. Says, hello, I'd love that spot if you just let me have it, please. Wyatt Roberts is not giving it up. Look at those brake rotors glow on those front brakes. They're just absolutely just giving it everything here. It's amazing to see this outside lane just develop and work. I really did not expect it to early in the race, given how bumpy it is. The bottom line, you know, it's just the fastest way around, smoothest way around. But that outside lane is just really consistent if you're able to just hold the steady line, get a good drive off the corner, and then of course clear the guy on the inside.
Austin Doran pushing his way through like I Show Speed's bodyguard through a crowd of people. That was a crazy, crazy shove in the middle of the group, and somehow Wyatt Roberts was able to save it, but he still cannot get a car off his rear bumper because Jamie Wright has been dealing a shot. A smooch to the rear end. Now
there he
Roberts
goes
will
around
spin
it.
off turn 4.
Wyatt Roberts spins. A yellow flag is a route. Wyatt Roberts on the front stretch spins the route, still saves it. Lap 34 out of 150, gonna bring it out here. Unbelievable racing. It's gonna bunch him back up here, and I believe it's only gonna get more intense because guys are gonna take more shots and try to move up through the field.
Nate, that was gonna boil over at some point, given how physical Wright had been with Roberts basically that entire run, whether Doran was there or not, and they had created this line of cars, and it's going to be contact here off of the corner. Wright dials up the inside. There's a shot, and then there will be a second one as they come into turn 4. Right there near the apex, but Roberts just loses it. Then there's the touch from
I don't
Wright.
think he actually touched him there. I think the rear tires just spun up a little bit too much on exit, but you saw the previous 2 laps, there was contact between the 2 of them down the backstretch coming out of turn 2. But yeah, I don't think Wright actually got into Roberts as he went around, but it's so difficult to accelerate out of the bottom of these corners because, again, it's an old surface. Your tires aren't exactly, being taken care of in the nicest way possible. It's really easy to get him heated up too much and just spin out.
Well, if you want some sort of semblance as to how this drive, or how to drive this Slinger Speedway track, this is the laps that I put together under the daylight. Not the greatest, but like Sawinski told us on the post-race interview of the Demo Derby, it's staying in 3rd gear. I believe they're using the Martinsville setup. They're using a short track setup, so you really got to be in low gear just to not kick up the rear tires. This track is super abrasive and super uncomfortable for a next-gen car like this that's really not built for it. So those are kind of the laps you have to make to be safe around Slinger. And for Connor Trafari, he has been in his zone. AJ Hyder, though, is starting to make inroads. Race high 2nd for the 48 car. Lap number 40, he's within half a second.
He's worked his way through the field really, really nicely as the 48 of Hyder is making up that pace that we kind of expected him to have. That he did not show in the heat, and now we're going to see if he can actually hang with Trafari here as we put some laps down on this run.
And they are the cars with the fastest laps. If it's not Austin Doran, 11.99 for Hyder, who's trying to chase down the leader. It's still 0.4 of a second, while in the background, there's a potential fight for what's going to be 3rd. Jamie Wright, although he picked up some heavy front-end nose damage from giving a shot or 2 to the back end of the 42 of Wyatt Roberts. Obviously, Alex, at a track this short, that damage really does not matter, and the Bomb Pop Toyota is moving forward. Larry Miles has to start to look in that rearview mirror a little bit more.
Yeah, damage here, you're not going very fast. Downforce is not really playing. You're letting the banking and the mechanical grip of the car do most of the heavy lifting for you. So he should be okay here. As long as he doesn't get more damage or any wheel damage, he should be perfectly fine. Keep that radiator healthy as well. Let the car breathe, and everything should be good. He's moving up through the field here, so just needs to low it back here, keep that car healthy. And we got a yellow flag. Caution is coming out. Let's see what the incident is here. Austin Doran spins it around. Hard contact, it sounded like. Heard a crunch with the wall. We'll get a replay and see what happened here.
Yeah, there was damage to the front end of the 52. There still is damage there as he's trying to even save it on the way back to the field. It's not a large track, this Slinger Speedway, but still a lot of effort that Doran has to put in as the caution flies again. And this is in the middle of the pack, right behind Wyatt Roberts. There is a touch or 2. And I wonder, Nate, if there's help this time around. We saw Roberts spin on his lonesome. Does Doran do the same? Yep, he does. And he catches Shocky Tarpley.
Oh. Yeah, and this is one where he got down to the track, tried to save it, and ended up coming back up the track, and that's where the actual spin happened. This is the onboard here with Shocky Tarpley. You see, he's just kind of minding his own business, trying to get a lay of the land here about 1/3 of the way through the race. He's a 52 spin. Oh, that's no problem. And just kidding, it is a problem because he's going to hit you right in the rear right after he gets out of your line of sight.
Might as well go in the pits as well after he got hit.
And
unbelievable there. That was just a bang-bang play.
And for a driver that had struggled in his heat, I think he had gone multiple laps down. Tarpley would be the first DNF of the night at lap 50. So not even through the first half of this race. And Shocky Tarpley, 5 laps down and counting, will be 11th. Only 10 drivers left on the field with only 6 cars on the lead lap. Green flag back out. Here comes Jurgensmeyer to the inside of Hyder looking for P2, Nate.
Yeah, they're battling side by side, and they're going to have to sort that out quickly before Connor Trafari runs away again. Jurgensmeyer working the inside. Oh, contact in the back. Declan George, it looks like.
And that's car number 17 going for a slight spill. Doesn't look like much damage on his Milwaukee Ford Mustang, but that will ignite the yellow flag. And one thing that we did not mention, laps do count here with the yellow flag. So it's not really a system of you have these cautions and the laps will not count like dirt racing. And they do here at Slinger, so we will give in the time. First time that we see a driver spill from the entry of the corner. That's why you didn't really see that much damage from the perspective of the 17 car. And should we, again, we mentioned how disastrous those bumps can be to the underbody of a car like this. You carry all that momentum, you're on the brakes and turning at the same time. For George, just got a little bit too much.
Yep, when the car bottoms out, it's the worst feeling in the world. You're helpless. You're just along for the magic carpet ride. When you try to catch it, that's when things go wrong. So it's just you got to find the lane here, got to find the rhythm. I just got confirmation from race control. Lap 75, drivers will be coming in doing a mandatory 4-tire pit stop, and guys will be getting laps back as well. Thought I would pass that information on.
All right, good information there, Alex. You've got the insider info, something that we didn't see coming. So we'll have a 75 lap move to pit road. So that's about 20 laps from now. And that'll nearly be at the halfway marker of this race. And we mentioned how tough this track is to drive. I'd imagine those tires are squealing for grip. I mean, this car is bobbling all over the place. I mean, there are probably parts of the racetrack where those tires are lifting off the ground, so they're not even getting any traction, any grip. But we'll see how things shake out on the restart. There's Trafari going with the early jump down the back straightaway. AJ Hyder will have an invitation down low to make things interesting to turn one. Near contact. Jurgensmeyer gets away for a second.
Yeah, AJ Hyder did not respond very well to the restart, going right at the start of the zone from Connor Trafari. Jurgensmeyer did. That's why he's clear into second. And AJ Hyder's going to have some work to do as Connor Trafari is checking out. I do think the 48 is faster than the 00 here, and he's going to get back to the inside as the 00 bobbles. He's got to make some quick work of Jurgensmeyer. Can he clear him out of the corner? Yes, yes, he can. Hyder's going to go back to try to chase down Trafari, as if he doesn't get run over.
Like a dolphin diving back into the ocean, AJ Hyder sweeps underneath Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, collects second place, and once more, just the final driver in Trafari to beat within half a second of those two cars. And between Hyder and Jurgensmeyer, they will be fighting for the SAAC Cup Series Championship come this time next week at the virtual Darlington Raceway in virtual South Carolina. Those two drivers running 6th and 7th in standings going into that race. 5 points separate those two. So it'll be fun to see how the pair of drivers will react to each other when it comes down to more serious business and eliminator chase action next week. But for right now, they seem to have settled things out for second, and AJ Hyder is starting to make an imprint now for the first time all night long, Shuey. This is right where Trafari has been in his sweet spot. AJ Hyder is going to look to pop this balloon.
Yep, it's the worst feeling ever as the leader when the guy in your mirror starts growing bigger and bigger, and all you can hear is the Jaws music. We all knew AJ Hyder was going to have speed tonight. I feel like our top three are the fastest three guys right now, so once we get a long green flag run, we'll really get a taste for how fast these guys are, who saved their tires the best. Of course, with the lap 75, halfway yellow here for the mandatory caution, they're going to want to get all the positions they can. So it's going to be really, really intense here to see if he makes a move. As it looks like Larry goes around on the front stretch, caution comes out. Again here, lap 66. It looks like we might have about 8 or 7 to go before this halftime yellow. Yeah, Larry Miles here in the 30 car. Just think he got a little bit too much on the gas pedal out of turn 4. Yep, and spins it across start-finish line. Little unfortunate for him, just trying to make up everything he can in the corner. Obviously trying to get a good exit, and the car did not stick from underneath him. Luckily, he was able to hold the brake. Nobody hits him here. He keeps it rolling. No harm, no foul. We'll just re-rack it and see what can happen.
Tonight has been a tale of the self-spins for the most part. We haven't seen many cars collect into each other to create multi-car accidents, which has been good. But again, these drivers are safe drivers for a reason. They are labeled that into this race because they have been so clean over the first 12 of the 2025 campaign. But a lot of it has just been self-errors. And for Larry Miles, it's really no different there. Just spinning around off turn 4. We've seen those bumps be a little bit more consequential compared to the area in 1 and 2. Seems to be a lot easier to roll the car through the center of that corner. And as we were getting that Charlie Bayer Photography onboard look with AJ Hyder, it's just a testament to how patient you have to be on the throttle. This track is only a quarter mile. These cars have 670 horsepower and not that much downforce. So you're sliding through the corners, you're not even touching the gas pedal, and you're not even full throttle until you're basically halfway down the straightaway, to which you're looking into the next corner and you're already tapping the brakes to rotate there. So it's really a matter of being disciplined in when you got to put in the throttle and when it's time to go, because if you get going a little bit too early, we've seen the real consequences of that with plenty of the cautions in this feature race. Coming down to the final 3 before that competition caution comes out and the drivers will have to come down pit road. Trafari has been oh so perfect tonight. Jurgensmeyer pointing down to the bottom, no can do for second. Cody Rivera striking the top shelf on Austin Doran here for 4th.
A great battle here further back in the field as we come to that halfway point of this race. AJ Hyder had a better response on that restart. Oh, there's contact between Duran and Riveras. Riveras goes way up the hill, almost caught the wall. He's going to lose a couple positions. He's behind Andretti Robinson.
Robinson will go to the inside. We saw that 45 car get bobbled out of the way earlier on in this race. Now he's slowly but surely mounting that comeback. Diving on the inside, lap 75 ticks. And there's that competition caution, so just a little bit of a sprint for Trafari and the rest of the competition as they will visit pit road for the first time tonight. And if you're asking, where's pit road? There it is. Everyone's going up the banking, the 33 degrees, and now you really can't see them. They're coming in on the outside of the racetrack. Can we even get a camera shot on it? I don't even think we can.
They'll be coming around eventually. It's a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, one of the slowest you'll see at a short track. The guys are going to go to work on the cars. We'll see who can get out the first, who can get out the fastest. Oh, actually, I just got word from Cody. These are non-competitive pit stops, so all positions will be held coming in and out of this pit stop.
Good news for Trafari. He'll hold on to the lead. AJ Hyder will have to give up the spot, although he will win the race off pit road. So there they are. That's the rejoin to the banking here at Slinger. It's such a short track, no room for pit road on the infield. You got to go on the outside, like a bit of an old Dodge Stadium move from the old NASCAR games. Y'all remember that? Alex, did you ever play the Dodge Stadium?
Oh, absolutely. Dodge Stadium, one of the best. Obviously, huge Dodge fan myself, so love that track. One of the best fantasy tracks ever. Honestly, if any billionaire has any ideas of paving a track anywhere, you know, Dodge Speedway needs to be your #1 idea.
Honestly, that's literally what the LA Coliseum tried to be, if you really think about it. They tried to be a version of Dodge Stadium, but they didn't have the really cool pit entry on the underside of the bleachers and the grandstands. They had a typical pit road that was in the center of the track. That's a big boo for me, but
hey, it's all about the fan experience at Dodge, and especially the LA. You know, it's one of the best views ever. I thought it was a great idea, you know, taking NASCAR to a big metro like that, especially in a football venue. I'd love to see it again eventually in the future, but Slinger Speedway, track like this, you know, we obviously see NASCAR go to at the Clash at the beginning of the year with the quarter-mile track there at Bowman Gray. You know, it would be awesome to see them come to Midwest and do something like this at Slinger.
So the field will pick up the iRacing official pace car here. And Alex, you told us that there were non-competitive pit stops. Hyder did win the race off of pit road.
To.
And he kind of came around. We weren't sure what he was doing here, but it looks like he will be in the lead, I believe, when we get this restart.
Yeah, I was eavesdropping in on race control comms, and I could have sworn I heard Cody say these were non-competitive stops. I guess not, so I apologize about getting that one wrong, but I guess maybe they were competitive. I misheard it, but at the same time, AJ Hyder makes a big pit stop. Obviously, his guys got to work the fastest here. We all know he has speed. He's running up front. Connor Trafari, it's going to be fun to see how if he has the speed to chase up to AJ and make him move on the inside or outside. Both lanes work here, so I guess the bigger question is he going to make a bump or is he going to race him clean? This is the clean driver shootout, so these guys are always going to run each other clean. Green flag is out. AJ Hyder gets away.
And Trafari gets moved out of the way, but they will throw the yellow instantaneously. I think race control didn't really like the formation of that restarter. Perhaps there was trouble, but they will redo it and try all over again. AJ Hyder will be in control, and they will pick up the iRacing official pace car. That's a sigh of relief for Trafari. I'm going to say that. And are they going to give a penalty here? I think they're waiting for the pace car to come around.
Yep.
What is this, dirt racing? 3 wide at the line. Yeah. This is a formation right now.
Red flag, red flag, red flag. Stop the cars, wave to the fans. There we go. Yep, we're just going to honor the fans real quick in SAAC. We love SAAC. We're really appreciative of all the fans that come out here at Slinger Speedway. We all know Thursday night's the middle of a work week. Got a lot of working class people. So really appreciative of all the fans here at Slinger. Just wanted to give a quick wave to all the fans out there. So that's what we do here in SAAC. It's really great to see driver support like that.
I was just about to do my best Johnny Gibson impression and start going World of Outlaws on y'all. That was, I mean, 3 wide formation. You wanted the best. You got him 3 abreast here at Slinger. And AJ Hyder will now pick up the rest of the field for this restart. There it is on the back straightaway. Trafari will have to hold off Jurgensmeyer. That's the fiery car down the inside.
Oh,
He saves it on the bottom
Bobbled.
shelf. Inside, 3 wide. Hyder now the leader.
Yeah, Hyder nailed the restart there, so Trafari's going to have to see if he can't get past him. It's always super fun when the fastest car of the night gets to have to work through traffic. It's a great treat to watch. Trafari probably doesn't love it, but he's going to have to get that work done nonetheless.
These are the first laps led all night long by a driver not named Connor Trafari. AJ Hyder from the depths of the field to start this feature race, now in control more than halfway through. And Trafari for the first time tonight will be behind a car in dirty air for lead lap position. Meanwhile, behind them, pair of Mustangs go at it for 5th. Robinson down the top. There's Jurgensmeyer down the bottom. They'll make a bit of contact. Spinner behind. Larry Miles in trouble off turn 4. And there's the yellow.
Contact. Big contact there out of turn 4 with Larry Miles. Yeah, I wanted to say, you know, this is really interesting here with AJ Hyder, with him out front. You know, he is a complete wild card. You know, Trafari's going to have to work really, really hard here to get around him. He was like watching a carrot on a stick. He was just able to keep up with him the entire time. So it's just a matter of when he's going to use the bumper, if he's going to use the bumper, or if AJ Hyder makes a mistake. We've seen plenty of self spins. So it's any of those 4 things could happen.
And we saw Trafari, Nate. I mean, he gave a warning shot to the back end of the 48 car. So I'm sure Trafari is not taking out the idea of using the chrome horn later on in this race, just given how fast he's been all night long. But now that Hyder is in clean air, how much of a difference will that make for Hyder? And how much of an improvement will that be in the pace versus what we saw earlier on when he had to cut his way through traffic?
Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, oops, sorry.
I'm not too sure how it's going to impact Hyder, but I will say he was not very fast in his heat race, and he was very far in the back of this field. But he found something about midway through that first set of 75 laps that it really allowed him to catch up to Connor Trafari. And this is interesting, Trafari taking the inside in row 2 instead of the outside of row 1. So Austin Duran is going to get to restart on the front row.
This is the choose cone, the magic of it here in the SAAC Cup Series, as we've seen it play a factor in these restarts all year long, and it'll matter here with 95 laps complete, coming in 96 here from Virtual Slinger. And glad that you're joining us on the KBueno Racing Network. Again, this is an off-week race. This is not for points, only for cash prize of $50 will go Eliminator Chase Racing next week as they bobble on the restart. Duran tried to predict the jump. Trafari down the bottom, looking for an entryway back to second, but it will buy some time for AJ Hyder in the race lead.
Hyder made him wait to go. He's been going at the start of the restart box. Trafari was doing the same thing from lead. Oh, Connor Trafari makes contact with Duran and
There he
spins!
goes, contact, he keeps it straight. Oh, there he goes, Cody Rivera's goes around, Connor Trafari keeps it straight. Caution's gonna come out, mayhem here, unbelievable.
And they
That
bobbled
wreck took
once.
about 3/4 of a lap.
That took nearly the whole time around Slinger. Jamie Wright is still picking himself up back on his feet. And the strongest driver of the night drops to a race worst 5th. He'll try to pick up position lost. But that was a huge shunt. And I don't think Trafari is happy by that in the slightest.
Yeah,
Here
he's
it
showing
is.
displeasure. He's giving Austin Duran the bumper right now. He is very upset with him.
So this is how it all transpired. And that's the level of frustration Trafari has. It's from the contact off turn 4 from Duran. And like you said, it really just took half a lap for the field to get themselves back sorted. But it was indeed the contact. And Duran potentially apologizing, not sure, but for the likes of the rest of the field, they're dealing with the consequence of this incident for second place.
The onboard look from Trafari. He gets clear for second, and now he gets put up the track, and Duran just never quite let him go. He kept hanging right on the quarter panel and really making contact with him, and the field starts to stack up behind him. And I don't know if anyone actually got all the way around there, I don't think Trafari got about halfway sideways, but everyone kind of got pointed back straight. That's a lot of damage on the 9 car.
And he's taking his trip down pit road, which will be a shocker. And with 48 laps to go, Connor Trafari, the dominant driver of the night, will be a lap down. He's going to have to hope that a yellow flies. He is currently the only car a lap down or more, so that is good news. The only problem is with how difficult it's been to pass and how long it took AJ Hyder to get to the race lead. Trafari is in for a long journey ahead. Green flag raises once again from Slinger. Fight for second, reignited. Jurgensmeyer down low. Doron trying to fight up top, and Hyder up top by half a second.
In the back.
It's
Someone
Larry
went around it. Yep,
Miles.
caution's out.
Oh, Jurg just caught the wall on the slowdown. He just caught the wall. I don't know if he's got wheel damage, but something happened to him. He had a huge, maybe got loose while rolling it up there, but that's another self-spin, it looks like. Just hard racing at the tail end of this field. Lots of guys trying to get everything they can. It looks like that's going to help Trafari out get his lap back. So, you know, the bleeding's going to stop for him, and he's going to be on the prowl. So keep an eye out for him. Jurgensmeyer moves up to P2. He makes a pass on Duran. I keep an eye out for him as well. His car looks pretty healthy, but until he got loose on when the yellow came out, I don't know how his right front is, but he definitely tagged the wall a little bit, and there's plenty of damage there. So AJ Hyder, he's got a clean car. He's out front. I mean, as long as he can keep it there, it should be pretty good. The laps are winding down, and obviously caution laps are in his favor, so less racing laps, the better for him. So the guys behind him just got to keep their cars clean and find a way to catch up to him.
It's a question of who can do what to get around AJ Hyder now that Trafari is not in the picture, and that yellow will help him out. He will get back on the lead lap, and he will gain one spot on the spinner of Larry Miles, which you saw in that replay wasn't self-assisted. There was contact with Jamie Wright in the middle of turn 1, got him around, and probably in the worst place to back into a wall. And it wasn't even a wall. There were lots of tire stacks that are there off the exit of turn 2. That is the entry of pit road. So we'll restart here at lap 110 rather, with 40 laps to go, which is not a lot at this half-mile track. As AJ Hyder continues with the lead, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer up high to react. Austin Duran and Andretti Robinson to play serve in row number 2. There's the green flag. Duran predictably down the inside, and AJ Hyder looks to extend his tally as Duran clears for second nearly to turn 3.
Jurgensmeyer was able to hang it right on his outside. He's going to try to keep doing it, but he's not getting that pinch on corner exit that, Alex, you were talking about earlier. He got a little bit of it there, but the more these guys fight side by side, the easier it's going to be for AJ Hyder
spinner
to drive
behind
away.
Jamie Wright just about saved it off turn 4.
There's Duran clear for second.
It's going to be an absolute battle here for the second place spot. Austin Duran's just going to be holding these guys up here with his front end damage. He's going to give him the outside. Looks like it's the place to be, but if Jurg can get past him here, you might have a shot at catching AJ. But it's just look at these train of cars here. They're just letting AJ get away here.
Oh, there he goes.
Looks like we got another spinner. They're going to bunch him back up again. Larry, no, I keep saying Larry. Andretti collects Cody Rivera's, and that's going to bring out another yellow here on lap 114. I don't know why I keep saying Larry.
And would you take a look who got through that one right there and might possibly, and by our scoring chart, be back up to 4th place.
Unbelievable.
Here's the replay, second look. Fight between the 36, that's Rivera's, the 45 of Robinson. It's off the corner. Rivera's just got a little bit too high and just gets the quarter panel of the 45 car. Jamie Wright stacks up in it. And like you mentioned, Nate, the boogeyman is starting to catch back up through the field. It's Connor Trafari, who escapes the mayhem and is now back in the top 5.
Somebody check the water for a shark. I'm hearing the Jaws music play.
Oh yeah, get out of the water. Get out of the water.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, we're going to need a giant fishing net too to make sure we catch him out front here if he gets out there. I mean, he's going to be on the second row here depending on where the leader chooses. It could be really crucial. If I'm AJ Hyder, I'm going to be choosing opposite of Trafari here. If he's on the inside, I'm going to the outside. If he's on the outside, I'm going to the inside. So he's got to play defense here. This is a really interesting part of the race. As he goes to the inside, he wants Austin Duran behind him, so wise choice. Keep Trafari on the car behind him. get a little bit of a buffer here. As AJ Hyder looks like he's going to get another whoa-up restart here. He's holding him back here. He's going to make sure he waits. He's going to wait. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to wait here, but they just brought up the yellow again to bunch him back up. So I think they're just going to kind of wait up one more time here and let the guys regroup so it's a proper restart with everyone in order. Hopefully they don't come to a complete stop here. They're going really slow. It looks like they're waving salute to the fans again. But yeah, this race has been unbelievable so far. It looks like green flag is out. They're going to get going. AJ Hyder, Jurgensmeyer is holding on the outside. It's the first time we've seen a charge from Jurgensmeyer, and the caution's back out again. Unbelievable.
It's because they're trying to reset the field, and they had a wave around from, I believe, Declan George. One of those cars was getting around the pace car, and there is no pace car on the track right now. So that's the reason why they keep throwing these yellows, and we keep getting teased on a potential green flag restart there. It's just because they're either waiting for the pace car, and then if you get down to the back straightaway after the choose cone, you're going so slow to pick up everyone up that iRacing itself will delay the start and throw the yellow again. So now we should be able to reset fully, but those are some crucial laps ticked off the board for Connor Trafari, who, like we saw, picked the inside lane. He's going to be on the inside of row number 3, and it's mostly a smart call, Nate, because, I mean, you look at what we've seen from the outside, not a lot of momentum. For Jurgensmeyer, he's going to have to hope that this restart is on par with the 48, but like we've seen, back straightaway pull, it really doesn't help out. And Andretti Robinson is going to spin right in front of the field, trying to wave around.
Wow.
And more laps will be takedown under yellow. What is happening from Slinger?
Man, this is a full noon tonight, I'll tell you that. These fans are getting a full show with unexpected drama and lots of close racing. Just those bumps, man, I'll tell you, they bite. And Andretti was hustling around, getting his lap back as many people would, and you would normally assume. But something must have happened with the suspension. He did get hit by Jamie Wright in the right or the left rear. So I'm assuming maybe he has a little bit of wheel damage or suspension damage, and that the bumps just upset his car and it just sent him around. Yeah, he's all the way up against the wall there. It's just a very, very difficult spot to just get around.
Well, just the problem that's happening as we take the green flag restart is that this track is so short. When you get the 1 to green, you can't wave around properly, or else you're going to be in that position like Robinson. Here's first second off turn 4.
It's side by side with Duran and Jurgensmeyer, and right behind the 52 is Connor Trafari, who not so long ago, they were not too pleased with each other when the 52 got into Trafari, and Trafari hits the 52, and now Jurgensmeyer is going to go for a spin.
Can he save it?
That
yes.
was a lot of aggression.
But the yellow flag comes out again. And this time it is Jurgensmeyer, the heart of the accident. Larry Miles, the secondary car in it. And
smells
that
like
was
payback
tough.
a little bit. Kenneth, I think that was payback, honestly. I think that was Trafari giving it back to Austin Duran for earlier. That just smells like payback to me.
Well, let's take a secondary look at it and try to diagnose the situation there. And Nate, as they're on the restart, again, this battle for second really has come up just because the leader is able to get out so far up the road. And it's going to be contact in the middle of the corner in turn 3. So Duran's holding his own. It's the entry where he skids up the racetrack and got the touch from Trafari to help.
Yeah, it looked like he broke a little earlier than Trafari actually expected. I'm not sure that was too malicious on Trafari's part there. And
these two have history from earlier in the race. That's all. That's the only reason why I said that. I was just
Jurg is an unfortunate innocent bystander in that accident.
And Jurg will be all the way at the back, P7. Again, this is a short field. Now only 8 cars that are still on the speedway. Andretti Robinson, who was trying to get his lap back and spun in the process of doing so. He's 10 laps down and counting as he took his Ford Mustang directly to pit road. Jamie Wright has set his car behind
on the front
wall,
row,
and Shockey Tarpley behind them as we take the front row. AJ Hyder, and it's Connor Trafari, who in all the mayhem has moved his way up to the outside of the front row. Will reset for the next time by. They have things settled out double wide, so the choose cone was already in place. But what can Trafari do to reestablish his level of dictatorship over this field? He's dominated the first half. AJ Hyder has been able to step out in front. Can Trafari match his level? Green flag with 17 laps to go. Trafari is there.
What a
Peak
restart
under
from
turn
Trafari.
1.
He was all over that restart. He didn't try to hang on the outside of Hyder, but almost diamonded the corner as he took the green flag so he could stay right up to the bumper of that 48. Guys, we've got the 2 fastest cars all night in a heavyweight battle with 16 laps to go at Slinger. What more could you want?
And there's the yellow again. It'll break
Oh.
up the action. Not a yellow with 15 to go.
That was a taste of what we could expect late in the race. Those top two guys running nose to tail. It's going to be an excellent finish here, whether it's a green-white checker or we run this thing out. So I've got a lot of faith in these two. It's going to be a great finish. Keep an eye out on Duran. He's still hanging in there. He's been really aggressive all night, showing his nose, making sure he does not be forgotten on the inside. So it's this top three it could all come undone here on this restart. You know, it's just all it takes is one bottle and anything can happen here. So more opportunities for drama, more opportunities for mistakes. That's all these cautions breed.
And it's going to be frustrating for Trafari, and I can only wish that we saw his reaction when that yellow came out, because that was the best outside restart, Nate, we have seen from, frankly, anyone all race long. He leveled out with AJ, he cleared Austin Duran to be in second place and put his nose right behind this 48, giving him a shot to stay within range and also deal the bumper if things get a little too drastic. That yellow flag will force him to get back in that position, which has been really hard to come by. It was a premium opportunity for Trafari, now wasted with 1 to go to the restart.
That was absolutely the best that we'd seen. He didn't quite hang it up on the outside, but he just got stuck right to his bumper, and we were going to have one heck of a battle, and it could have very well ended up in a bump and run on the back end of this race. So we're going to see if Trafari can't do it again now, as this field's gotten really, really thin late in this one.
11 laps to go, 10 laps to go at the stripe. As they get the choose cone ready, Trafari once again will choose the top groove, and not a launch from Duran, so it will help Trafari get back single file with the leader. Green flag once again from Slinger. Outside to the arc goes Trafari off turn 2, looking to break the shield from the 48 car. 9 to go this time by.
He popped the wall a little down the backstretch, but didn't lose enough momentum. He's right back to the back of the 48 car, and he's getting really, really close on entry, almost like he's sizing him up for a potential chrome horn kind of move.
He's within a couple car lengths, but now AJ Hyder has been able to extend his advantage. Trafari is getting further down in the rear view mirror. Hyder coming across, 7 laps to go. Trafari doing literally anything possible to creep up this gap. And how does he play it? If he can get close enough, how physical will he be? Wyatt Roberts has stepped up into third after a masterful restart. Austin Duran holding on for fourth. Cody Riveras has slung his way back up to fifth. And coming to 5 laps to go, AJ Hyder is looking for the safe driver shootout win. 4 to go this time. And Trafari is sideways.
Further back.
They still keep it green, still green, 4 to go here. AJ Hyder continues his lead. Unbelievable that they kept it straight here. I don't know if Trafari has anything for him. He's moving his car up a lane. He's just not closing the gap. These laps take off here very fast. Unbelievable. AJ Hyder looks like he's going to bring it home pending no more yellows. 2 laps to go. Kenneth, take us home.
Trafari back by 1.1 seconds. And AJ Hyder sliding into the Slinger sunset. White flag from Slinger Speedway for the safe driver shootout. And as Trafari bobbled once, Hyder pulled away. And after a flawless second half, AJ Hyder comes away with the win and snags the safe driver shootout.
The short track ace, AJ Hyder. What a race. Oh my, Larry Miles just went flying into the pits.
What a race there. Unbelievable. Lots of hard racing all night, guys. We're not willing to give up positions. They were fighting for every single spot. AJ Hyder definitely deserved this one. Came through the field, passed everyone, kept his car clean, didn't make any mistakes, did everything he needed to do, and he brings home another win for the wild card. AJ Hyder.
What a comeback this will be for Hyder, especially after the sequence of events that befell him at Homestead Miami Speedway, where he crashed fighting for the race lead. And as a driver fighting for the championship this season, this will be a huge momentum boost. Not only does he capture the checkered flag tonight from Slinger, he will capture the $50 that go with this safe driver shootout win, as AJ Hyder comes away successful and wins in great fashion in a late race restart, and just held on over the strong, charging Connor Trafari back in second place. So let's look at the unofficial race results after the 150 laps of this State Driver Shootout tonight, where AJ Hyder comes away with the win by nearly a full second over Connor Trafari. That was a showdown for the ages in the final 10 laps, but Trafari just did not have enough to break free. Wyatt Roberts ends up with third after a chaotic race for him. The same goes for Larry Miles, spun around several times tonight, but he locks up fourth. Declan George to fifth. And look at all of our stronger drivers as well back in P6, starting with Jurgensmeyer, then 7th with Austin Doran. Cody Rivera's back in 8th, Andretti Robinson in 9th, and Jamie Wright for the top 10. Here are the final 2, or final 1. Shockey Tarpley, 11th, 107 laps down, and our boy Alexander Schumacher in the booth with us, not in the race, but did sign up for the session.
I brought the backup card just in case. Well,
a fantastic effort from AJ Hyder. We'll see if we can try to talk with the race winner, but I don't believe he is in any of the voice chat, so we'll try to talk with the rest of the running top 3 before we can get to the dub holder in AJ Hyder. Let's try and talk to the driver who comes home in second place. Actually, no, we do have AJ Hyder now, so let's bring him in as AJ comes away with the dub from Slinger Speedway. AJ, what a drive through this field. You struggled in your heat race. You had to start from nearly the very back of this field. You spent all of that race carving your way through little by little, and then it was just mastering all those restarts at the front at the end. How wild was that to run this race, not only with this car at Slinger, but just to be able to hold off the traffic and get the dub?
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty unique combination, and man, yeah, you're right. That heat race was absolutely horrible. I couldn't get myself into a rhythm. I was just making mistakes in the middle of the corner. It would snap, and when it snaps, it's gone. It's gone the whole corner. Like, your entire run's gone. So it's like, can't really make any ground up, and that was pretty much how the whole heat race went. But yeah, as soon as we got the feature underway, it was all about just getting into a rhythm and getting myself comfortable with this combo. Never run here before, especially not with this car. But yeah, the bumps, man, it is just so crazy with the bumps here. Like, I mean, I like it. It gives it a lot of character, but man, these cars just do not like this surface at all. But as soon as we got into a rhythm and had a couple restarts go our way, we were able to get the lead. And we got the lead on that halfway caution, actually. And that's pretty much what set everything up. It was just all about timing the restarts right and just making sure no one else got past us. And that's what we were able to do. And just glad to get another victory. It might not be a points race, but just glad to get another victory in this series.
And you've also got $50 for your credit for this win, which we'll talk about that in just a little moment. But you mentioned high momentum to get a win here at Slinger. I know this is not an official race, so it won't count for anything in the overall season. But to have this moment happen in between the week of what was a heartbreaking effort at Homestead, and then what's going to be the start of the Eliminator chase come Darlington next Thursday. How big of a confidence booster will this be, and how much positive momentum will you gain from tonight to move over into that Eliminator chase event?
Yeah, it definitely gives you a little bit of a boost, but the only problem is that I'm not sure where we go the first race of the playoffs. I think Darlington, but yeah, this place is nothing like Darlington, unfortunately, so it's going to have to be learning completely from scratch. But yeah, this gives us a little bit of a boost, and just hopefully we can turn out some better performances than what we've had the last couple weeks.
Well, AJ, a big time win here in this safe driver shootout. You had a clean car all night long, and as safe as it can be for Slinger Speedway and what it's concerned. $50 now in your pocket. What are you going to do with it?
Not really sure. We're going to figure that out when I get it, I guess.
All right, well, it's a decision in the moment, but AJ, on behalf of all of us here at the KBueno Racing Network, congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, anybody that you want to shout out or thank for the dub?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone at LR Speedco, Express Esports, everyone at Spartan Motorsports for bringing a bad fest, DuPont Chevy, and props to Connor for racing me clean there. Could have punted me if he wanted to, but he decided not to, and I just appreciate him for not doing that.
Well, AJ, congratulations on the win here from Slinger. Best of luck as you take on the Eliminator chase format with the rest of the field of Darlington next week. Go on and celebrate. It was a fun race tonight.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
AJ Hyder comes away with the win. Second unofficially of the season. He won Iowa officially, but this will be a big-time boost as we head into Darlington Raceway next Thursday night. Let's see if we can join the next driver in the mix, and that will be Connor Trafari. Nate, you've got him after he comes home P2.
Connor, first and foremost, congrats on a P2 run. Of course, after the start of the race, maybe would have liked for a little better before the incident with Duran. How were you able to get through the field so quickly after going down a lap? I think I blinked and you were already back into the top 5.
Yeah, new tires. Just going 100%. Not really caring who I ran into, to be honest. Yeah, it really sucked. I had a really good start to the race, and then I think after Cody just kind of spun me from the lead, it kind of just all unraveled from there. I lost the pit road lead to Hyder. I don't know how, to be honest. But he gapped me for a decent bit there, and then Doran just dumped me, and from there it was just kind of downhill. But yeah, got P2, but you don't get paid for P2 in this race. You only get paid for P1s, so.
On that last run, what was missing behind AJ Hyder for those last 20 or so laps?
Downforce. My nose was kicked in, and I still had like a minute of damage. I didn't have time to fix any of that, so I was able to get up to P2, but just the damage just kind of hindered any chance I had at AJ since he had a clean car in the lead.
And then next up, we go to Darlington to start the Eliminator chase. What's the plan for taking down these top guys in the series and winning yourself a championship?
I don't know, man. Consistent finishes probably. Darlington's gonna be interesting, especially with the dirty air package that they added. So we'll see how that goes with a tight track like Darlington. But I think if I just get top 5s, top 10s every race, maybe rack out a win or 2 every once in a while, I feel like I have a good chance at winning the championship.
All right, then before we let you go, is there anyone you wanted to shout out for your run here tonight?
Yeah, give a shout out to my main sponsor, Lot 9 Brewing. All my Zenith teammates who didn't show up, apart from Shockey. Cody Rivera's for putting on the league, of course. All the admins that helped him out with that. Y'all with the broadcast, of course.
Thank you, Connor, and congrats again on a P2 finish here tonight.
Thank you.
That's Connor Trafari, who comes home in second place here from the virtual Slinger Speedway. Let's join the third place finisher, Alexander Schumacher. You've got him. That's Wyatt Roberts.
Wyatt Roberts, congratulations on the third place finish. Unbelievable race for you. You've had an up and down night. Seems like a lot of the controversy and accidents were happening right in front of you. A lot of wrong place, wrong time. You've managed to escape through it all, salvage a third place finish. Talk us through those closing laps, moving through the field, surviving the chaos. What was it like from your perspective?
It was pretty good. I got up around like the top 5 with 50 to go. Got around, I think it was Austin Doran on the inside there in the final restart, and that got me in third. But with only like 10 laps remaining and it went green the rest of the way, it wasn't anything I had for the leaders, but got me up to third.
Absolutely. Survival of the fittest at a short track race like this is all you need to do. Obviously, you're a playoff driver heading into the playoffs that start next week at Darlington. Any expectations, hopes, dreams, stuff like that? What are you going to do heading into the playoffs here? What's going to be the difference that will be a Wyatt Roberts championship?
Next 2 tracks, Darlington and New Hampshire, are both some of my better tracks. So I hope I can get some good runs there, get like top 5s. I mean, if I got a win, it would be incredible. But like, if I can just get solid top 5s, top 10s through the Eliminator chase, I'd probably get myself a position I like.
Absolutely. One final question here before we start shouting people out. Obviously, what were your thoughts on tonight's race? Would you love to do something like this again? Did you think Slinger was the track? Come back next year. Are you going to lobby the Cody to bring it back? Because I know I'm going to be telling Cody to bring this back next year.
I really like the Slinger track. It's pretty cool, very tricky and bumpy, and it's probably the shortest track we got here on iRacing, at least definitely for the paved tracks. But I'd like to see it alternate through some other short tracks. Like I saw in the group chat, people were saying, put North Wilkesboro in. It's got the new rescan on iRacing, and I think that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Lots of great choices here. Lots of great racing as well. We know the SAAC guys put on a great show. You did a great job as well. Anyone you'd love to shout out tonight, give a holler to, let us know.
Definitely shout out my dad. He watches all my races. Shout out to Side Draft Racing, which includes you, Chewy, but also Larry and Traber. and also my guys at Adrenaline Motorsports that I do my endurance with.
Well, thanks a lot, Wyatt. We really appreciate you coming here. Congratulations on the hard-earned P3. Good luck heading into the playoffs. Even as my teammate, I'm going to be doing everything I can to help you out. You've been a great friend all year, so good luck to you. Wishing you all the best. Really excited for what's to come these next few weeks for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Wyatt. That was Wyatt Roberts, who finished 3rd place here at the SAAC driver shootout here at Slinger Speedway.
Great run from the 42 of Wyatt Roberts as he closes out our top 3 tonight. And what a race that was. I mean, what a pair of races. We had the Dirty Driver Demo Derby, in which you, Shui, were involved in that alongside a couple of others. Brad Sawinski getting the win then, and AJ Hyder coming away with the dub this time around for the Safe Driver Shootout in a 150-lap sprint from Slinger. And now we go racing for the championship for real, Nate. Darlington Raceway next week on what's going to be September 18th of this year, 8:30 p.m. Eastern for the green flag, and the coverage there on the KBueno Racing Network. But now it's real-time driving. You got to go out for a championship. 16 drivers come in. 6 drivers will make it to that final round from Auto Club.
And it's so many different kinds of tracks. This is a really good job when they put together this schedule to really make all of these Eliminator Chase drivers prove their worth every single track we go to. We've got Darlington, where you got to get up, run the wall. You can try to work around the bottom. It doesn't usually work as well, but it's certainly viable if you can do it. New Hampshire, completely different, nice and flat, we'll say. Similar-ish to Phoenix, so I would watch out for AJ Hyder there because he's been good at these kind of tracks. Slinger, not so flat, but still a shorter track. Road America, a complete oddball of a racetrack, and then Bristol, Chicago, Auto Club. Some really fun races ahead of us as we go down to decide a champion on October 23rd.
Lots of diverse racetracks. That road course at Road America will certainly be a curveball in the making. But Shui, you got a chance to run in the Demo Derby. You kind of saw the action tonight alongside us in this Safe Driver Shootout. What did you make of it? And now after we move forward, how exciting will this Eliminator Chase be starting next week?
Well, obviously the demo driver race was very fun. Had a lot of fun with my guys, Brad, Bomar. You know, we all know each other very well, so it was fun running each other over, hitting each other, spinning out, and just having lots of controversy and just chaos all around the track. But heading into the SAAC playoffs here these next few weeks, the Eliminator Chase is going to be really interesting. SAAC has one of the most unique points formats ever. They really value consistent finishes, and then after that, the points really drop off. So key to moving on and being successful in the SAAC playoffs, finishing in the top 10. Once you finish in the top 20 or top 15, the points really start to drop off. So obviously there's going to be a lot of guys fighting for only 10 spots on the track. And of course, with the eliminations every so few weeks, they're not going to be leaving each other any space or patience. So lots of respect here tonight. I feel like some guys maybe got their anger out early, so when the playoffs start, they're not going to be mad at each other. But obviously, anything can happen here these next few weeks. I really don't know who's going to be the champion. Last year, we saw Jordan Kuhn steal the championship, I believe, in the final race. So really, anything can happen here. All it takes is one race, one mistake, one caution. So I'm really excited to see who's going to win this championship on October 23rd. If I had to predict anything early, I would say my early championship prediction would be Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He's been really consistent all year. He's been really fast. He's got a bunch of wins in SAAC so far this year. So if he can keep his postseason strong and everything he's doing, he'll be able to move on, and I believe he'll be the SAAC champion.
Not a bad pick for the 4-time winner in 2025. Out of the group of 16 drivers that will fight for the title starting next week at Darlington, they all consist of big-time names, obviously race winners, and many drivers in between. All those storylines we'll give to you next week on September 18th. Be sure to tune in at 8:35 p.m. Eastern for coverage of the SAAC Cup Series Eliminator Chase from the track Too Tough to Tame. We'll have 4Wide Racing TJ's Team Series action next week as well. We return after an off week. This week, they'll head to the Music City and Nashville Super Speedway. And right before that, on Monday, we'll be racing from up north Montreal. Road course racing for the KBueno Truck Series. Be sure to tune in on Monday for the action, then Wednesday for 4Wide, and then revisit us on Thursday for action for the SAAC Cup Series and the rest of season number 4. But that'll do it for us here from the KBueno Racing Network on tonight's Safe Driver Shootout coverage, where AJ Hyder comes away as the winner. On behalf of everyone at the SAAC Cup Series, for Cody Riveras and the entire admin team that makes this league run round, and for all the wonderful people of the KBueno Racing Network that helps us out on a broadcast every given week, for my good friends Charlie Beyer, Keelan Belsha, Eli Comerford, and for my broadcast colleagues tonight, Francisco Bacquiao as well. For my colleagues tonight in the booth, Nate Polite and our good friend Alexander Schumacher, I am Kenneth Bueno, waving so long from Slinger Speedway. Congratulations to AJ Hyder on the Safe Driver Shootout win. We'll fight for a championship next week from the virtual Darlington Raceway.